Well, hello, sports fans. Larry Eater, RunBlogRun. This is your favorite program, Athletics Chat. This is number 71, and this is the epilogue, or as our production manager, Mike Deering, calls it, another conversation with Larry. You're so lucky, but I'll keep it at 5 minutes, okay? So let's go. Stuart's in Oxford, England. I'm in San Jose, California. And yes, Oxford, in case John Ridgeon doesn't know that, is the intellectual capital of the world. It's not in London. London is the media capital, but not the intellectual capital. Anyhow, here's what we're talking about today. First of all, the WANDA World Marathon Majors, Abbott World Marathon Majors. We call it both. The season, 6 races over 7 weeks, is a little insane because normally we have 3 in the spring, 3 in the fall. Everything's in the fall right now. And we had the Berlin Marathon on the 26th of September. We have had the London Marathon on the 3rd. We have had now Chicago and Boston this last weekend, October 10th and 11th. Chicago, a little warm, but Ruth Chepngetich went out like a bat out of hell, and she was ahead of Bridget Koskai's world record pace up until about 18K. And then she hit about 107.34, so she was at about 2:15.08 pace, and she started slowing down from there. It looked like Sarah Hall's idea of moving into third and then to second and then taking over first was going to play out because Sarah had run a fantastic race. There's actually some segments during the race where you see Brian Hall, her husband, running along the course and telling her what's going on. And the problem was is that no one gave that script to Emma Bates. And Emma Bates, who had taken 4th at the Chicago Marathon in 2019, took 2nd this time. Sarah Hall took 3rd. Kira D'Amato took 4th. I believe that there were 6 women, U.S. women in the top 10. It was a fantastic race. And Ruth Chepngetich ran a brilliant time, but just, that course is fast, as executive race director Carrie Pankowski told me this morning. On the men's side, it was a much more competitive race with Sifo Tiru and Galen Rupp and Vincent Kipruto. It came down to 3, and then there were 3 at about 22 miles, just like the Genesis album name. I know, I digress. But anyway, what happened was Mr. Tiru started building up a little bit of distance. The problem was Galen was feeling great, and he had had a rough race where he finished 8th in Tokyo, dashing his Olympic medal hopes for the 3rd time, for a 4-time Olympian. Not bad, right? But Galen ran one of the best races he's ran in a long, long time in 2:06.35. Mr. Tiro's time was 2:06.12. And Vincent Kipruto was just under 2:07. The marathon had about 26,700 finishers in Chicago. The wheelchair athletes, Tatiana McFadden won for the 9th time in Chicago, and David Romanchuk won as well from Marcel Hug. They all got their racing wheelchairs and themselves on a plane at 9:45 and headed to Boston and competed in Boston. Marcel Hug won the men's race. Daniel Romanchuk was 2nd. In the women's, it was Manuela Schar and Tatiana McFadden. Manuela went out from the beginning. She had not run Chicago. Tatiana kept it pretty cool. And the Manuela Schar won in 1:35.21. Tatiana McFadden was at 1:50.20, so 15 minutes back. Manuela was trying to get the course record. If she had, that'd have been a $50,000 bonus. And Marcel Hug was within 1 block of getting the record, and then he was taken off course and missed it by a couple seconds. Rather frustrating. But, in Boston, if you don't do it the whole way, you don't get the cigar. So, unfortunately, that's kind of how it played out. But both Boston and Chicago had been fantastic. the same TV crews, Paul Swangard, Kara Goucher, and Chris Waddell emceed at both Chicago and at Boston. And in Boston also, there was a global feed, and we got to see and hear our friend Larry Rawson doing that. The groups that are doing the race at the live, Paul Swangard, Kara Goucher, Chris Waddell, are doing it with a level of professionalism that hasn't been seen in a long time. They not only know when to talk, they know when to shut the hell up so we can enjoy the race once in a while too. And I think those things are very, very important. And we pat them on the back for that, and we thank them for that. Other things that our friend Stuart and I talked about, Holly Bradshaw, who used the British team uniform for the crew team, I believe, so that she didn't have to wear pretty much bun huggers and a midriff. That wasn't her thing. She asked why Jake Whiteman and Josh Kerr didn't have to wear it. And it's true. There's sexism in our uniforms, that kind of stuff too. So she, well, I don't know if she was portraying that. She did think that she wasn't comfortable and she didn't want to do that. And so they were able to, British Athletics, to their credit, were able to accommodate her. I thought that was very, very important. And that's a real lesson because not all women want to wear something that's a bare midriff and that's kind of the bun hugger thing. And it's women's sports are sexualized enough. They just don't need to do it anymore. So I thought that was a good comment. I also think that we talked a little bit about Keely Hodgkinson and her chance to drive an Aston Martin and learn how to drive in an Aston Martin. Kind of cool. And then get to go to the 007 opening because she was an Olympic silver medalist. And then also, what's interesting too is to see how Gemma Reike, how Laura Muir, how Keely Hodgkinson have all been shown some respect in their country. The other one I would just want to remind you of is please check out our interview with Kate Grace. It was a lot of fun. One of the most articulate, confident young women that I have seen in our sport in a long time. And I think it's really, really important. Check it out. But we've got a lot of things up on RunBlogRun. And Stuart and I will be back next week for Athletics Chat 72. Stay safe. Thank you again for viewing us. And please pass it around because the more eyeballs, the better. This is Larry Eder, RunBlogRun, Athletics Chat 71, the Epilogue. Thanks to Mike Deering, our production manager. Stay safe.